can do as we dive on into our grand finals of WardiTV Mondays edition 44. In the bottom right hand corner, we're going to start things off with the blue Terran player from Team Liquid. He's had a rough bracket today. Reno in the round of 8, and then of course coming out against MaxPax in the round of 4. Let's see what he can do in the finals. It's Team Liquid's Clem in the bottom right, our reigning world champion. Maybe the final time we get to call him that, because I'm not going to be casting him again until after EWC after today, so this might be the final time we get to call him the current world champ of StarCraft 2. That says how close we are to the EWC starts 1 week and 1 day from now. As in the top left corner, the red Protoss player is going to be ShoWTimE from Sentinels. He will be at EWC as well, looking great in this Open Cup. What a great way for him to kind of step into that event. Going to be very, very exciting. Alright, so I will just take a moment here. I do real talk. We've obviously been co-casting with Hearthstone. I've not really done a lot of my selling out and stuff today. So first of all, thank you if you've been subscribing throughout the stream today. Gnoi000 just came in with the 40-month resub. I've also had the Gyron. Ian M7 gifted out 10 subs as well. So thank you so much, Ian, as always, for gifting out those subs. Grats if you got one of those. My Wardy dad hit us up with the 101-month resub too. So thank you everyone for supporting and showing some love. Super appreciate it. And yeah, we are obviously a quick moment just to say, obviously this is a WardiTV event, so these events don't happen without you guys. We do appreciate the support. If you sub up, etc., it goes a long way. You can support for free though. If you're on the YouTube, you can like and subscribe. Free to do. Lets you find more of our videos. Lets you see the live stream more frequently. So do that. Obviously on the Twitch you can follow. And like I say, any support goes a long way to helping. And if you want to support specifically tournaments, you can go to patreon.com/WardiTV. 100% of any pledge on Patreon goes directly into tournament prize pools. So if you love the WardiTV events, if you love the tournaments, from the Mondays to the bigger events, European Leagues, the Summer Championship coming up after the EWC, if you like the WardiTV events, consider supporting on the Patreon. We even cover transaction fees. So if you donate $10 on Patreon, that $10 will 100% end up in the pocket of a StarCraft 2 Pro, or an amateur, if an amateur beats all the pros to win the prize money. But it will 100% go into a prize pool, will 100% be given out to a player. So if you want to support the tournaments, check out the Patreon. Like I say, it's a guaranteed way where you can ensure that, you know, what you're putting in is supporting the most important part of StarCraft 2, which is the players. Doesn't Patreon take a cut? Yes, I cover that out of our other revenue. Like I say, it's guaranteed. So I will cover the transaction fee and guarantee that it goes into prize money. So yes, we make sure to, like, but the whole point is I want to make sure that you guys have a 100% guaranteed way that money goes directly to tournament prize pools, because I know that's important to a lot of people. So, all right, that's the Patreon at patreon.com/WardiTV. That's enough selling out. We've had 3 minutes of this game. Fortunately for me, not much has happened. Would have broken off if it looked a little bit more exciting, but it's really not been. Reaper and a few Marines coming out. The bunker up defensively early. Nothing lost in the game. The Adept will attempt to scout as the Reaper is poked across on the other side of the map as well. We just have the double gateway and a robo facility coming through. The blink chrono boosting up on the Twilight Council. And we have ourselves a couple of moments. Medevac, Marines, Widowmine all producing through. The Adept is going to be a little bit of a shade through toward the main base. Medevac and Marines still coming over. Barracks and the Tech Lab coming up. Blink is on the way in as well. I'm just going to be seeing this Medevac popping out of the starport and ready to jump into... ready to jump those two Widowmines inside and start to go out across the other side of the map. So Medevac boosting across over to the top left. Nexus building, Blink coming up. Raven is building on the starport as well. Another barracks just going down in the main. Two Widowmines continue to come across and get ready to hit this mineral line in the next few moments as we have ourselves a chance to actually do some damage here. Stalker's not in position. First Widowmine will get burrowed. Has to kind of split a little bit hectically. Too many probes nearby. Oh, that's nice. That was actually kind of nice because I feel like the probe kind of taking the... Oh, and burrows into Stalker fire. That's a dead mine. I was going to say that probe kind of looking like it was going to go towards the 3 maybe meant Clem didn't retarget it. So then when you pull it back, it fires and you actually get to clean up rather than wasting more time. But yeah, either way, I mean, this was nice because, don't get me wrong, you killed some mining time in the natural. That first Widowmine drop-in was nasty, but the one in the main going down fairly freely is a bit of a shame because now you've got an empty medevac. No units are going to stick back to deal with that, and we're going to catch the Raven on the map. That's very bad for Clem. He should lose this 100%. Raven down, no spell casting from it, and that's one more harassing unit that will not be on the map any longer. So ShoWTimE finds himself in an amazing early game position. Minor mining time lost, but nothing to stop him from mining in the future now. That's the most important part of this. There is nothing else that's going to make his mining time miserable, that's going to slow him down here. He can fully focus on just progressing in this game, and that's where he's going to go to right now. Just put some pressure on at the front. Third base can saturate. This is so nice. You just don't have to warp in any stalkers at home. You don't have to pull probes away. I mean, the bunker's going to stop you from doing much. It's not like ShoWTimE has a ton of stalkers out across the map. Doesn't have a prism there to support it either. But just sits here, holds his opponent back, sees what's going on in the main base with the Observer. He's going to see the reactor timing, so he does know the medevac timing as well, which is absolutely huge. Third CC will drop down there as we just get that underway. Looks like, yep, there is a bunker that will fall, so that bunker drops down dead, and that does mean we get that cleaned up as the Observer pops through, moves out to the sides. The Stalker's going to pull back over to the right. Stimpack, Combat Shield, and the +1 upgrade continuing to come online for the moment. +1 in charge, Robo Bay coming up, additional gateways, and everything else coming online for the next little while. Gate morphs into the warp gate, couple of zealots coming through, the +1 attack on the charge coming up as well. And Bio will still gather, siege tank setting up in the natural, and we'll just have our army moving out from the main base toward the nat, and just going to be seeing that Observer overhead, keeping an eye on things. Observer to the right side, also going to keep a little bit of an eye on this and that, going to get a scan in, Observer falling. It's going to be a nice catch right off the bat as the +1 in the Combat Shield continues to build into play for the moment. Well, now Clem just pushing. I mean, this is where ShoWTimE should feel good, right? He's had a decently good early game. He's had no reason to keep pressure, be kept back or anything. He's not taking a 4th base just yet, although I'm sure he would love to have one started up, but he is just going to be cautious about it. There's a later third from Clem. It's not super fast third base, so ShoWTimE just kind of getting towards his Colossus, and honestly, right now, I think ShoWTimE's army can easily jump on what is here from Clem. Clem scans it, sees it, already started to step away. ShoWTimE having 2 sentries gives him an option to have a Guardian Shield that comes up, maybe a Force Field or 2 as well, but she's going to blink forward after the medevacs that just lifted up, a couple of siege tanks that were in this army. I mean, this is difficult for Clem because ShoWTimE can chase, and those Zealots are so tanky. The only good news right now is obviously that, you are getting rid of some of these Zealots as we go, and eventually, with the mine showing up, we are going to turn this Protoss army away. I mean, Clem lost himself a medevac there, didn't lose the siege tanks. I think the main thing was that ShoWTimE couldn't get his range units really in range. He was really chasing, and the chase was very real. And so because of that, he didn't get a lot of his units fighting the entire time. As we get one more siege tank set up already. The extended thermal lance will finish up in a moment, +2 attack on the way in as well. The army on the right ready to potentially strike down toward the third as we go. We're just going to be having a few additional probes finishing up. Forge battle complete, 2 more Vikings building from Clem. The armor upgrade on its way out of the engineering bay. We drop another mule in on the right-hand side. And as that mule drops in on the right side, we'll just see a couple more Vikings coming about. Again, the upgrades continue through. +2 attack, +1 armor. Prism, Zealots building at the moment. As the army collects over on the right side from ShoWTimE. Stalker's just going to go through. Just going to be seeing a couple of shots coming about. A little DC, unfortunately, from one of our casters here. As we'll see the Zealot Stalker Colossus. Right as this moment's about to get interesting. I mean, Clem's supply blocked for a moment or two. He does have a few Vikings to help keep the Colossus at bay. That's going to keep ShoWTimE, I think, from being comfortable and kind of attacking into this place. So Clem is able to push ShoWTimE back the other direction for the moment. And Marine Marauder continuing by. The armor upgrade coming up as well. Here comes a few extra Zealots. ShoWTimE obviously close to being maxed out. I think in general as ShoWTimE, you want to keep on forcing fights as long as there's no access to, ghosts or anything here. Typically, don't get me wrong, this is a defensive Terran position, but you've got Zealots in the main base right now as well, so the Prism going to get active over here right off the bat. And then that gets cleaned up nicely, but I think ShoWTimE does want to just keep poking around and staying a little aggro. Recalls the Prism, so the Vikings hunting it down do not find it. Yeah, I really feel like while there's a chance for these Colossus to get in there and trade without being taken out easily, there's a very good chance for ShoWTimE to just keep fighting there, but not happening just yet. There's a couple of warpins come through. Disruptors building up. Gates on the way. Again, Marine Marauder Ghost building about as well. +2 attack, +2 armor, building also. And this army heading down to the south, as we actually do see Clem about to take his 4th phase. ShoWTimE's going to be right on position to try and play denial of this 4th right here, so that could be a pretty big factor in the next moment or two, as we do see a couple of units stimming up at the front. Going to start stepping forward, 1 Stalker already going down, and we are going to have a couple more units going down over on the side. Stalker gets jumped upon. Just going to see the rest that's going through. Nice EMP, and that's going to be a chance to get rid of these Colossus. The Colossus kind of stepped into the front of the army from ShoWTimE for a second there, and the Zealots walking into the massive bio is not great. The Disruptor's too close to fire. There's no way it fires and does well enough, yeah. If he was going to fire that, I mean, he had to in the end here, right, because he was running for his life. It was going to die anyway, but if there was a time to fire, it would have been like as soon as he was like, oh god, like before he maybe sees the Disruptor, maybe then he doesn't notice in time to jump toward it. But yes, this was a disaster for ShoWTimE. This fight was not it in the slightest, as Clem just smashes him, and that army gets kind of ripped up and torn apart a little bit. 11 additional Zealots going through, a couple Disruptors coming up. Our army's still stepping forward, and we do have ourselves the Protoss trying to just jump back onto this right now, but yeah, we lost all of our Colossus. It was a really weird fight because it happened so suddenly. What really did come into play was just the fact that I think we dove kind of in with the Colossus accidentally. Like, the way they stepped around the corner just put them into the front, and so they just got hurt hard early. Now the Vikings on the ground trying to help out. Clem's losing a lot of supply, trying to attack in. ShoWTimE's turned this into a very respectable defense. +2 attack will help him a little bit. He gets a prism across the map. Could maybe cause some trouble if Clem has just been reinforcing across. And ShoWTimE actually going to bounce back in a big way after getting heavily reset on his army. He's actually going to show up. Main base now not mining from Clem. Just going to let these Zealots cause chaos. And if nothing else, it gives ShoWTimE some presence on the map. He has a 5th base up. He's rebuilding the Colossus. About to have 3-2 upgrades as well against the 2-2, so he will maintain an upgrade lead in general. And he's confident enough to step a little bit onto the map once again. So that's a really nice bounce back from ShoWTimE, because that was such a terrible fight in the middle for him. So yeah, really able to turn that around, get some Disruptor shots off in the end. And that's going to be absolutely huge. Why is ShoWTimE not using Storm? I think it's just one of those games where... I think he had a chance to go Storm in this game, but I think he probably would have liked to have gone Storm soon after having 3 Colossus, and I don't know if he was just already feeling good on the map, and he maybe just likes having Disruptors on this map instead, maybe because he feels though you can't move forwards without kind of going up certain positions, and Disruptors zone those very nicely. Or I don't know if it was just because he had such a bad fight at a point where maybe he would have thrown the Templar Archives down if he'd continued to have money. Instead, Disruptors are much more of a Hail Mary. Of course, he was already building Disruptors though, so it did seem like that choice was made earlier than that. So yeah, I mean, Storm is not essential. Disruptors and Storms kind of fill similar roles, where they're kind of real zoning units, and ShoWTimE going to get jumped on here, jump on this army here. He actually started talking down Medivacs. Disruptor shots come through. Good split from Clem, as the Disruptors do not land. That Disruptor in the back, yeah, I was going to say, it fired and tried to kill the Protoss army. A little bit of a traitor. Second time we see ShoWTimE in this similar position, having to run away and not having a great time. The Vikings, at the moment, chipping through the Colossus, and that is going to be an issue. Not having that consistent damage output of AoE, and instead just relying on the Disruptor shots does take away the consistency that this army of ShoWTimE is looking to be able to play with right now, and that is definitely a kind of a longer-term issue for the moment. That's what I mean before this series when I said that ShoWTimE plays a lot of good games against Clem, but the scorelines don't always reflect it. Like, I can see Clem winning this game, but ShoWTime's put up a good fight and had some good positions that have, been lost to him, but TLDR, like, as a viewer, like, these series are really fun to watch, even when the scorelines typically end up in Clem's favor, because ShoWTimE does put up a fight. He does have a challenge in his kind of nature against Clem, and sometimes it comes out in his favor, oftentimes it does not. We'll try and dive through here. Zealots are going to try and lead the charge forward. Again, chasing that bio army back a little bit. Zealots get onto the right-hand side. A few SCVs already going down. A little bit of bio will chase. A couple Zealots getting caught. +3 armor coming up. The shield upgrade coming through. Dark Shrine, Zealots, Nexus. Continue to come up here as well, as the bio is going to jump onto the Nexus as well. +2 ship weapons. Going to be continuing through the cloaking on the way for the Ghost as well. Just some of the later game upgrades coming up from Clem right now as ShoWTimE Gets himself a couple moments to try and attack in over here. Clem is at the point where he's building a bunch of bases. Obviously, ShoWTimE's built bases all the way throughout this. Great position for ShoWTimE. He can zone with the disruptors a little, but he's not confident enough to stick around. And maybe rightfully so. You see those disruptors already being chased. He might need a few units to step forward and protect these disruptors. Clem trying to target the further disruptor out. Not a bad idea. The Vikings do make quick progress onto the Colossus. So they're going to die. And these Zealots, like, they really do hold the front nicely, but it's just the Colossus are dying. I think this is a moment where Storm actually does become very, very good, because the disruptors you can kind of dodge away from. A Storm here would have much more so pushed that army back and stopped Clem from being able to re-engage in. Like, a Storm could have come through there and realistically hit the bio, where the disruptors were not able to find the same kind of shot or the same kind of opportunity, right? So I think this is 100% a good question of maybe it's time to go Storm. At this point, maybe ShoWTimE feels too committed without Storm. Maybe it feels too difficult to kind of, switch that up and bring that back in. It's going to have an army on the left-hand side coming over. Stalker's going to blink on underneath those medevacs. It's going to be seeing the Zealots taking some damage as well. So a few shots coming over. Bio pushing back up. We have ourselves at this stage where ShoWTimE is trying to obviously keep splitting up and go in different directions. Every base on the map, the bottom left-ish base, that should probably be Clem's, is kind of being taken. ShoWTimE contesting both corner bases as well, so really trying to have that endless kind of, as he starts to trade badly, and he's only 2k resources behind, which is not bad. As he gets to that sort of point, you do want to be mining more here as the Protoss player. Like, that is very typical of this scenario, so you want to try and keep that very true. As Nexus in the top right-hand side goes down as well, it's going to be another good catch for the moment. Shadow Stride done shortly. It's going to be another harassing option for Clem as this game progresses. For ShoWTimE as this game progresses. And Blink DTs are very scary. They can take bases down quickly. They're also extremely expensive to get up in very good numbers. That's always going to be a choice you're going to make. As ShoWTimE tries to kind of pinch onto this army, he will get the Zealots to charge through. Coming in from the left-hand side there. He just finished up another Robo, and I'm wondering if we go back into Colossus, because we have just completely reset the Viking count here. Yeah, 3 Colossus coming up all at once, and if Clem doesn't realize it, that can be a very dangerous switch. Disruptors here trying to find the edge of the army. Doesn't get it despite the lack of a stim there. What Clem is also doing is building up the Liberators, and eventually Liberators are going to make you have to tech into the later stage of this game as ShoWTimE. The first 3 or 4, no, not really. As more come up, that's definitely going to be where the problem lies. He warped in a bunch of DTs. They're hitting the bottom left base in a moment or two. We'll check in on that after this fight happens as Clem just about gets away from the terrible disruptor shots that was about to be. Terrible for the Terran, that is. As we do see, the base bottom left has gone down, so those DTs are succeeding. But Clem is obviously pressing forward, and there's not much of an answer right now from ShoWTimE. He needs those Colossus to pop out and to come and help us here. We put an orbital on fire. We're going to finish off another bit of static defense. And we should be getting the hell out of here, but ShoWTimE's just got a bit too much going on. All but 1 DT go down. It's expensive. I mean, ShoWTimE's going to warp in a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers now. He needs to be careful because his gas count is going to be the challenge, right? Like, he needs to make sure that if he's warping in DTs, he still has gas for the other tech units to keep everything else alive and rolling. A couple libs set up on the right side. Again, it's going to be such a challenge to attack into those libs. That's why ShoWTimE wants this kind of mobile harassing force at this stage, because then you can pull the Liberator sieges apart. You can see this. He's diving past the Liberators a little bit here, right? He's got an attack in the bottom left again. Like, these are the things that Clem has to now try and deal with on multiple fronts to really stay in this game. ShoWTimE has a ton of minerals available too, by the way, so going to maintain that. A few medevac's going to boost down to the bottom side. It's going to see another jump onto the Planetary Fortress here. The few Zealots are going to get involved right away. It's just difficult, man. You're fighting through a choke point. You've got, Planetary Fortresses fighting against you as well. Stim forward, do not like that at all from Clem. It does let the Lib siege up very far forward, but the Colossus turned around and laser beamed down that Terran army at first. So that was a bunch of bio taking a hit. And you can see Clem right now, not a lot of minerals. He needs to find a base to drop some mules onto. ShoWTimE is outmining him mineral-wise right now, which makes sense. 80 to 49 workers. Obviously, Clem, at certain points, will probably just have the, the ghosts, the mules to help him out, as I'm thinking of the ghosts here, EMPing, making sure no recall in this base. However, ShoWTimE takes this as a chance to press forward. Some of the new orbitals being forced to lift up in the skies. There's just no way we fight through this. Those Liberators are way too scary. We will zone backwards, and we will get some of the Vikings, which try to chase the Colossus, going to be protected by that. ShoWTimE losing a lot of probes down here. Opens up some supply for more army units if that's what he wants to go for, but that does take away some of his potential for rebuilding. He's going to dive this command center here. That's a planetary that goes down. I like that a lot, though. because I actually think this has a lot of value as a planetary because it really stopped ShoWTimE from attacking into this position. Now it's going to be replaced as an orbital. That base feels way more engageable, and this location feels opened up. This is an avenue of an attack, an entire pathway that now ShoWTimE can access where he could not really access previously. The planetary really clogged him up way too much before. The orbital, not quite so much. ShoWTimE going to already be pushing right back into that position. As he dives through here, a couple of libs out of position here. We should be able to turn onto at least one of those. It just feels like ShoWTimE is losing so much, though. That mineral bank is draining. Clem's starting to get a little bit better mining up and running. Man, ShoWTimE has so much down over here. Maybe that's why he's lacking on the top. He's going to have Clem really running up to the top side. I think Clem realizes that ShoWTimE has not got a lot at home. Man, so many of these units are so low, but there's so much that it doesn't really matter. ShoWTimE counterattacking, great. That's all well and good, but we need to live. We need to survive. Colossus is going to pop out. There's too many Vikings. And I think ShoWTimE's almost just a little bit too all over the map right now. I mean, Clem's going to respect it a little bit and pull back. He is going to have... I mean, this is obviously turned into a base trade to some extent. So ShoWTimE's going to lose a lot of his mining bases to the right side. I mean, you see Liberator setting up over here. There's a few Sorgers that could probably get through and make something happen. The reinforced units there getting taken down. ShoWTimE, he's going to back away from it, though, so he's not sure about continuing in. It took him a little bit too long to break into that base. I mean, this base is just... it's just a give up, right? Although I do like what ShoWTimE is doing. He's going to bring the rest of the army forward here and look to knock down this bit of mining, especially that rich vest being gassed. Take that away from Clem. And now Clem's in the wrong position to really do much about this. Couple of the Colossus up. Viking count at 6 only. That feels manageable. We don't have as many Stalkers as we used to, but in a game where the resources are low, there's not a lot of banks to be worked with. Like, I actually like this because remember, Clem's army's kind of low HP as well. It's actually going to come diving in on this. ShoWTimE just going to send it. Is that a cool decision? I do not think so. Oh, he felt like he could take this fight, but his army was just not good enough. Oh, that's a shame from ShoWTimE because I really felt like he was still competitive here, but diving right there when so much of his army is still elsewhere as well is just not the play. And I think that's going to be the move that actually cuts ShoWTimE off in this game. 23 minutes deep, and we are, I think, on the verge of seeing Clem picking up the opening map now because that was just a little bit too much lost all at once right there. And I think we are now going to end up in a bit of trouble, to be honest with you guys. Clem retakes this base on the right, so he's going to be able to get a little bit more mining going once more. And ShoWTimE in comparison is... I mean, he's got the bottom left base up, the same base on the other side of the map. He just lost so many units. He had another Colossus coming over as well. There was so many ghosts in that army too, which actually packed quite a punch if they're not getting taken down quickly. It just wasn't the fight from ShoWTimE. I think a few times in this game, the issue has been like he's ran into these brick walls of bio armies that have just been too stacked up. Like there's just been too many units stacked in a clump that he's not been able to declump and really work his way through. Like the splash damage has not been there. And in that case, it was very true. The Colossus went down way too quickly, and so ShoWTimE lost that opportunity. Which is, like I say, a shame because I feel like this was still very much up for grabs either way. Just like I say, you can't take the fight like that. And that does, like, at this stage, leave us with Clem looking very likely to probably be victorious in Game 1 because ShoWTimE, he's just not mining enough to stay in it at this stage. Clem, you know, beforehand he was obviously denying bases of Clem as well, but Clem retaking, or overtaking, I guess is the better way to say it, to the top right. Like that top right corner base used to be ShoWTimE's, now it's Clem's, and it's mining. You know, it was a close game when ShoWTimE was mining there. Never mind now when Clem's going to mine from it. I actually really wonder what would have happened if ShoWTimE was a bit faster to get up into the main base when the base trading thing was happening. Like initially the two Liberators weren't there, that would have made a big difference. This fight, there's no chance. Too much bio, it walled up. Splash damage goes down before you can really punish the stack, and Clem will take a Game 1. A great example of what I say when I mean ShoWTimE gives... He's like the Yoshi in a Mario level. You have to jump off of him to reach the goal at the end. Yes, that's exactly it. He's the Yoshi. We use him to navigate the course, but to finish up strong, to get that final completion, we have to let him just dive into the nether as we jump over. That's the perfect perfect stuff. Love it. All right. For what it's worth, and maybe very little, I'm here because EWC Dota 2 has 2 days of downtime between the group stage and playoffs. Well, welcome. Enjoy watching some StarCraft too. Good to have you here. We have SC2 at EWC next week. If you like what you're seeing today, these guys are probably going to kick it up another notch next week when it comes to all being on the line. The beautiful part of StarCraft 2 is 90% of players you've seen today. In fact, I think everyone we've casted on stream today apart from Shameless in the very first match, we'll all be at the EWC in a week's time. Which is kind of crazy, no? It really baffles me that the players are so supportive of these events and they get so involved with them. It's amazing, obviously. Great for me, and I think great for the community of StarCraft. He obviously has to settle into this weird state where we're dying, but we're not really dying because we're super passionate, so... yeah. Thank you, Dohi, for the 44-month resub, and let's have a look at this game. Minute and a half, I forgot to put us on an observer, so... ignore me, just leaving us in the main base. I know how to make the most of having 2,000 viewers. Yes, I do. See, I'm just gonna accidentally forget to do anything with it. Ay. Alright, Cybercore coming up. Nexus coming in. Take a couple of moments. Reaper in the command center coming up as well. And we just, peaceful opening. Few moments here. Tokamaka opening game. When we get this settled in as the factory and the command center continue to come online. One probe gets back over there. Not really much going on, right? Early game. Reaper and the Marine even hanging back. It was true last game as well. We had a pretty passive opener for the most part. The bunker came down. I mean, I didn't really talk much about the opener last game as well, but not much happened. The Reaper scouted, the Adept scouted. No one really traded out much. Both these players happy to set up slowly. I kind of wonder if ShoWTimE has intentions or a plan as to what he would like to do as this Reaper hops up to the high ground, hops back down. The hallucination going to start moving out. The orbital and a starport building in as well. Widowmine and a couple of Marines will continue up for the moment. Product cancel will finish. A couple of gates coming online. Warp gate about to complete, and the Reaper still just obviously cruising around, looking for some info if anything is possible. Here's the blink from ShoWTimE. 2 more gateways, very similar to what we've had previously. From Clem, he's going to have himself a few Marines as the starport comes online, and this can be a very different drop because you're going to be much more Marine heavy in this game. So you can just go medevac and drop the 2 mines, but you could also maybe go like Marine mine drop if you wanted to, or Marine poke, mine drop at the same time. There are options at this point as to what he maybe gets up to, so definitely has those choices. The couple of gateways continue to produce online for the moment. Gates finishing. At the front, we get that set up. Hallucination. Sees the load ups and he knows it's just 2 mines coming across the map. Does not necessarily know what direction that's going into because the hallucination saw the lift up and not necessarily the direction we ended up going, but the 2 stalkers do intercept. Hallucination gets back on track, and that more or less makes it impossible for Clem to go across the map now. Remember, last game really started badly for Clem. The first Widowmine drop was not really it. Got cleaned up a little faster than he would have liked. And then also we have, had the Raven getting caught. Again, here we go. Medevac going down. So ShoWTimE absolutely on top of the early game here. That is absolutely huge. So no initial harassment. Obviously, we'll see if the Raven can get across instead. And maybe that will provide some opportunity. Oh, what's actually over here? Is that just the Reaper diving through for a couple kills? Looks like it. Apologies, guys. So yeah, Reaper dives over and gets a couple kills in the end at least. And ShoWTimE continues to sit out the front and trying to hold his ground. Stimpak in the +1 continuing online. And the Forge and a few more probes building up as well. Continue to get this settled up into play as the few Stalkers get to the front. There's going to be a bit of a bunker play here. Marines putting some damage out. The Marines still trying to step on forward. Stalkers have to keep blinking away. There's that medevac up the right-hand side. Sorry, the Raven up the right-hand side right now that's going to come through. So it did get across the map, most notably, and is going to be in for some damage. Auto turret going down. I'm just going to pick away at a bunch of those probes. 2 workers down immediately. And at the same time, Stalkers blinked into the main base. Oh my goodness, Stim goes down. It's always funny because Stim is like a really good pick-off. But it doesn't always feel as good as it maybe should. As this is awkward. Do we not have a recall from ShoWTimE? He's going to blink and just keep going. Oh, this is very scary because you're going to lose a lot of Stalkers. But it's almost... I almost want to say it's okay-ish because we denied blink, so it's going to be... we denied Stim, so it's going to be difficult for ShoWTimE to... for Clem to punish this. 2 Stalkers do make it home, but that was a lot of Stalkers. usually what we say about Stalkers is they're the kind of unit you want to keep forever. Because A, they have the ability to keep themselves alive with Blink, and B, they're expensive units. Like, you don't really want to reinvest money into rebuilding your Stalkers. You want a Stalker count initially, and then spend your money elsewhere. They're quite mineral heavy, so you want to spend those minerals on Zealots, and they cost quite a bit of gas too, and you want to spend that gas on other tech units. So having to rebuild a Stalker count back up can be an issue. Like I say, no stim maybe gives you a bit more recovery time to get an army up and to take advantage of the workers that you've killed. I mean, look at, like I say, like, stim is not far from being done still tonight, despite the denial, because we just go straight to the other tech lab. What will really be delayed is obviously stim's delayed a bit. What will really be delayed off of all of this is going to be combat shields. So that's meant to be the tech lab combat shields is building on. And so that's going to be the real delay for Clem. So there's still, don't get me wrong, it's a good pickup from ShoWTimE, but it became expensive. He made more of it. Hard to say whether I would have rather him just recalled immediately or just continue to go after those SCVs. I don't know how many Stalkers he would have just lost if he instant recalled when he blinked across toward the mineral line. I think he would have gone away with at least 5 or 6, in which case, versus, like, and probably still killed 2 SCVs as well. That's actually a genuinely very difficult little bit of analysis to make. Is I think in the long run, TLDR, as long as ShoWTimE doesn't die in the next minute or so, and it's going to have been worth it, right? Like, he took a very serious economic lead, put himself into a very good position, and gets to kind of start reaping the benefits of it a little bit right now. So, yeah, across the board, I'd say pretty darn good, to be honest. Back around the right-hand side. Clem has just started up combat shield, so will get himself toward that. I mean, combat shield's a big deal. It's minus 10 HP on every Marine. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider that there's 20 Marines on the army, that's 2,000 less health you have to go through as the Protoss player to get kills, right? That's basically like the Terran player just double stimmed. You know, it's a pretty big factor. And especially when the Colossus start lasering and they do the AoE and units die so quickly anyway, Marines die so quickly to that AoE, and it really does become a pretty big factor pretty quickly. So definitely something to think on here as ShoWTimE steps out toward the middle of the map for the moment. 2 Colossus in the army. There's this kind of phase of the game in this modern day of PvT where the Protoss feels so good once they've got 2 of those splash units up. There's not really a lot to get rid of 2 Colossus right now. And as long as there's not enough to get rid of 2 Colossus, like, those Colossus can be super annoying. They can step up, they can do very well, they can trade very nicely. There's a lot of value they can find. Some probes across the map going down as the Raven, again, is just making a name for itself. That's why in the last game it was such a big deal that he knocked it down early. Great force fields, 4 Marauders get caught instantly. Love that. Vikings do get some shots on the Colossus. You'd like to see the Stalker stepping through to protect the Colossus. We're going to lose a Colossus, but we do get rid of 3 out of 4 Vikings. 2 new Vikings show up, but there's another Colossus showing up as well, so I'd like to believe that this is going to remain very comfortable here for ShoWTimE, but he still has a good amount of splash available. Zealot's warping in from across the map. No prism, right? So, oh no, there is a prism, but where's the prism at? Oh, it's coming. So it is going to be there soon. A shame it wasn't already here. He might have made enough momentum to really break through this army and get through and across the other side and make something of this. A few other probes just end up transferring. Marine Marauder Viking coming up. Engineering Bay and Armory coming online. On the bottom, we do have our Stalkers and the Prism coming across as well. Widowmine burrows up. We'll just give 1 Zealot to that Widowmine. As we have a few Vikings. Gonna go straight after the Prism. That's a rough loss. Loses the warp in as well, and immediately he just sees that clump of bio, and he's like, I don't believe in my splash damage, and I don't think he should have done. I think it's the right call to run the hell away from that. Losing that Prism is so rough. There's something, it's so wild. I feel like ShoWTimE, this game is so reminiscent of so many Clem ShoWTimE games we've casted over the last 2 or 3 months, where I feel like ShoWTimE can do so much right. He can move into a lot of good positions. He just can't seem to fight this Terran army like a lot of the other Protoss players. Like, it feels like he consistently runs into this brick wall of bio where it's like, oh, there's just too much bio here for my units to be effective. I gotta back up. And I feel like we saw it already a couple times in the last game. We've seen it just here now. It seems like such a struggle for ShoWTimE to actually find the fights that a lot of the other Protoss players do find. It's a very interesting conundrum. Of course, he's still not playing Storm. He's playing Colossus into the Disruptors once again. So getting those set up, bringing those out. Ghost Academy and the few Vikings continue to build in as well, so we get those coming up. How's the Raven there? Still annoying, 7 kills on it. Just, again, it's just a constant harasser. It's kind of nice. You can pop in and check the robos are building and stuff as well, so you know what the follow-up is, or if there's more tech units coming out, etc. Like, the Raven in general is just providing a lot of info and damage for Clem at the moment, so. What ShoWTimE is doing well is he's starting to expand a lot, double expanding off the 4 base to 5 and 6. typically, I believe the current opinion is that if you're 2 bases up as a Protoss, the Terran player feels okay about it. So obviously the fact that he's double expanding now, Clem shouldn't be like, oh my god, double expand, gotta expand myself. I think we should look at this and be like, oh, Clem should be feeling pretty good because those double, bases 5 and 6 do not come in quickly here for ShoWTimE. Loses a hallucinated probe that he's using to just gain some map vision, get an idea of where Clem's army may be at any stage. So looking for that as the bio back over the right. Another scan coming in, a couple disruptors, zealots and stalkers joining up. Another scan again. Uh-oh, disruptor gets dove on. Oh, the prism's there to save it though. That's actually kind of big. I do think we need the disruptor to help zone, right? I think that's one of the things we've not really had much of from ShoWTimE. Like, he has had disruptors, but he's not been able to really get a lot of shots off with them where it's like, okay, I can zone you out, I can stop you from pushing in right here and now. It almost feels like we need a little bit more of that from ShoWTimE still at this stage. Bio pulling back over to the left. Vikings in the sky. We got hallucination again. It's terrifying because there's a lot of Vikings and, your Prism's very important, your Colossus are very important. What is very important, though, is that Clem does not notice that ShoWTimE is over to the left, so this could be awkward. Like, this is just an orbital here. This is an engageable position. The little group of units that's left behind is not good, and yeah, I think Clem gonna have to bring this army from the right over to the left, but ShoWTimE will have position. He's gonna clear this Widowmine out with a disruptor, which tells Clem that he's over here, right? Preemptive shot down the ramp as well. He's almost expecting Clem to know he's over here, but not actually the case, and ShoWTimE is not super confident about going in, so he plays a little bit more slowly. He actually lets his disruptors lead the charge, and I love the idea he was firing from far enough away. He really had a chance to do something, but then it became a little bit disastrous because he left them all in the front, and that is the fine line you're playing with these disruptors. They've got to be firing from close enough to actually connect, far enough away that they don't just get jumped on, and also far enough away that you can also just run away with them if you don't actually manage to completely turn the army away from the Terran player. So kind of a huge deal across the board. 3/3 upgrades still coming up, +1 shield, +2 armor. Continue to come into play as well. The Zealot Stalker Colossus still moving over the right-hand side. In the bottom left, moving around the bottom in general. I mean, at least ShoWTimE was able to disengage. That's what I mean. I feel like when ShoWTimE plays against Clem, it feels like he's so close to so many good fights. And then just like one thing goes wrong and it's like, oh my god, scramble a defense together, I love that he's getting Storm. I think it's better to get Storm now than continue with what he's had. Because in the last game, I think if he got Storm up, he would have had some positions where he could have taken some better advantages. So I like that we're seeing Storm. What's going to be awkward for him right now is that he's playing a very complex army to control. You've got a Zealot Stalker army and Colossus that just wants to run on in there. You've got Disruptors that want to fire from a distance, preferably one at a time. You've got High Templar that want to try and spellcast here and there as well. It's going to be tough to kind of manage all of that at the same time, so we'll see how well he's able to do it as these Zealots just dive in, take some of Clem's attention. ShoWTimE, he's trying to do something else on the right at the same time, and Clem's aware of it. He just knows that there's a good chance that ShoWTimE is going to try and multi-prong during this, so good identification of just the typical game state. That's a good disruptor shot. Oh, he kind of pulled it to the top, which in the end wasn't bad. It did land. Now he's going to start storming as well. The Vikings are not going to let that prism warp in. Disruptor shots now land a little short. I mean, the Vikings just make this so difficult. I mean, at this point, I think it's good we have High Templar, because at this point, I think we don't want Colossus up for a little while, because those Vikings are just in completely dominant numbers. At this stage, I think adding on, like, Robo Facility 2 and 3. Are we already on 2? Yeah. Adding on Robo Facility 3, and then just rebuild, like, 3 Colossus at once you've cleaned out the Vikings, that's a much more powerful play at this stage. The only problem is if you don't force Vikings, your opponent is able to clear up supply for Liberators, and that's also going to be a concern. I mean, this is where we're basically kind of very complexly jumping around unit compositions and figuring out, oh, if you got a bit of this, I need a bit of that, but then I kind of don't really want to build a bit of that because you got a bit of this. And so, in general, there's this kind of ever-evolving kind of what army do you really want in a TvP? It's not like, when we cast in those EVP late games early and Hearthstone's like, I think ShoWTimE's army is exactly what you want it to be. I feel like that's never, that can be the answer in a PvT for, this point of the game. But then, depending on what the Terran builds next, changes what you want next. And then what you build changes what the Terran wants, right? There's never really this kind of exact perfect, oh yeah, this is it for the entire time. That's a good disruptor shot again, just exactly what you want, zones those units back, gives you time to play on this high ground, and yet we still can't continue through. I really felt like we should have left some Zealots to hit those Vikings, no? Those felt like easy pickings, but we do back it up. Let those Vikings live for the moment, and ShoWTimE steps away for now. Clem on the right side running forward. High Templars do have Storms to buy you some time. Energy Overcharge as well gives you a little bit extra. The Energy Overcharge Templar goes down to a snipe after one Storm, so was very close to dropping another. It doesn't happen. It did stop Clem attacking in though, so ShoWTimE successfully pushes him back on the right. That's a big deal compared to what we've been seeing. ShoWTimE actually stopping some of this Clem pressure and aggression. Islands dropping. Something else to note in this game is the bank accounts. ShoWTimE does not have a lot of gas. He has got minerals, but Clem has much more of both banked up already. And so ShoWTimE is working off a much lower work account. Like in the previous game, Clem had a much larger army at points because ShoWTimE had a lot more workers still. In this game, ShoWTimE does not have a ton of workers, so he's got more room for army supply, but it does mean he's got less bank to play with, and that's just a very different vibe. In a matchup where Protoss typically trade ineffectively, but have so many more workers to rebuild with, is going to be super intriguing to see if ShoWTimE can overcome that in some of these later game fights now, and make that kind of extra army supply really count in some of these engagements, and really help him, to make a bunch of difference, really. On the right-hand side, bio units coming in. Attacking straight on forward. As we just have Pylon going down, the rest of the Zealots showing up. I can charge on through. On the left-hand side, a little bit of a fight as well. We do have the Ghost getting jumped on a little. At a fight for ShoWTimE as he holds his Nexus right over here. A Warp in, I don't think it's going to be in time to save the base, so the Nexus goes down, but he will be able to chase those units away at least. But still engaging over here into the couple of Liberators. They go down. The Vikings should get the Colossus, but there's not enough to deal with the Zealots. I'm going to need some reinforcements right now, otherwise he's going to get overrun a little bit. There's two more Liberators. That's going to be difficult to deal with. So Clem will be forced to, or ShoWTimE will actually just pull back and go actually after another Orbital. Putting damage onto this before Clem lifts it is kind of a big deal. He turns back around. Liberators have repositioned, letting the Zealots just trade against the bio units. Now more Stalkers showing up, and ShoWTimE might overwhelm Clem right here. Clem needs units to start popping out of these buildings. He needs units to come back home from the defense. He does lose the Disruptor that was heading for the Vikings. Get rid of some of those ground units. Gets rid of the orbitals on that location is a big factor, because there was nothing that said those bases should have died. I actually think they could have been saved, perhaps. ShoWTimE, another massive round of reinforcements. It's low-tech units repeatedly, right? He's looking to overwhelm. He's looking to not give Clem a chance to set up and play defense. Stalkers want to get through. They want to get these Liberators ASAP here. He's going to get the one furthest back first. I love that. EMP on the Stalkers, but there's no follow-up. Or maybe there is. These few Marauders coming in from the right side. They want to get something done. They're going to try and fight. The Zealots have to run back, and Clem will continue to hunt down this army, as this is the point of contention right now. Clem is still chasing. He's still finding units. He will not let ShoWTimE get away freely, but his supply's hurting. Clem has 8k, 2k in the bank, and he can't spend his money fast enough. Extra Zealots showing up. Clem's army's already hurt as well. It's running the orange and amber colors. He is not in good position in this game right now. Stalkers will hunt down Medivacs too, and ShoWTimE continues to own the position on this map. Overwhelming with numbers, but can he keep it up? Two Colossus about to join the fray, and they're going to be an issue as well, because we don't have anti-air. We have 5 Liberators in production, none of them ready, not even close to being ready, and now these Colossus get to join the fight against the bio. That's a big difference. This is what we've not seen. Colossus actually able to connect on clumps of bio units and punish them from clumping up against those Zealots, as even more Zealots joined in, and a maxed out ShoWTimE army knocks another base down, steps away to Colossus number 3. 5 Liberators may be Clem's savior, but they're just not here yet. EMP's coming down, but we need something beyond those EMPs. The ghosts are low, but we are going to dive on forward. Colossus losing their shields, but not much else. Extra Zealots, extra Stalkers from the left-hand side. We're coming back through one more time as we blink on through. We're looking for the Medivacs. The Zealots want to get the bio, but Clem will just admit that he does not have enough. GG, well played. We're tied 1-1 in this best-of-5 final. ShoWTimE will get this second game after a bit of a rocky game. We went back and forth for sure. 5 of these, he's yet to make a finals, right? Like, there is an insane level to get to every single week to make it through these events and to make it through deep and all the rest. So, yeah, ShoWTimE, if he wins today, would become, I think, our 8th ever individual winner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, our 9th player ever to win one of these cups. We're getting to the point as well, like, we are 44 cups deep. Like, we really do have a legacy going on. We've got, like, storylines to talk about. We are coming up to a year of these events at this stage, so, well, yeah, in that regard. All right, let's get into Game 3 of this best of 5. In the bottom right-hand corner, the red Protoss player is going to be ShoWTimE. Top right, the blue Terran player, repping Team Liquid. It is going to be Clem. And again, just want to say thank you. We have broken through the 2,000 viewer mark on Twitch. We have been hovering around up and down from 500 viewers on YouTube. That's actually ridiculous for the Monday Cup, so thank you so much, guys. I appreciate today's been a crazy Monday Cup as well. We've had great games all day. That's obviously helped, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We do this every Monday, so if you like what you're seeing, we oftentimes have a lot of these great players playing every single week. Like I say, obviously we do have it's usually every Monday. Next Monday we will not, because it's going to be just before EWC. I will be in Saudi ready to cast. So, yes, we'll not be having one next week, but we'll be right back at it the week after. We ain't stopping. So, yeah. Just letting you guys know. Pulling away. Reaper in the factory coming over. SCV coming through. I'm just taking a moment to breathe. Obviously, we had a pretty hectic wrap-up of that last game. ShoWTimE taking some fights, taking some wins. He really just started to take some better trades in the end and was able to actually finally show the power of that Protoss army just massing up. And as Clem was trying to get through to that Liberate account, ShoWTimE was able to stop it getting super high. And he also did a really good job of moving between the tech units, right? Like, he was using Storms very well, and then when the Vikings were gone, he really did get through to a few Colossus that actually made a big difference in some of the final fights that we saw. Went a long way to helping us out there. As we are, by the way, I think we're on track to go into the longest WardiTV Mondays ever, by the way. I don't think we've ever gone 5+ hours on a WardiTV Monday. We're 20 minutes away from that, so today really has been a banger in every single way, shape, and form, so thanks for being part of it, like I say. As we just take a moment or two. I can't believe I don't have a pre-recorded tournament ready to boot while I'm in Saudi. You know, there was a time where I thought that that would be a really cool thing to do. Just be like, pre-record some tournaments and just like whack them up while I'm away. It'd be pretty sick. The only problem is I can't run the ads and stuff, you know. If I'm away, I'm away, you know. I did think about this once upon a time. Sometimes it's good to actually just take a break, you know. I first thought about it when we did the Christmas Day games, because obviously the Christmas Day games are like, you know, we pre-record them and we run the VOD on the Christmas Day. You know, it's my way of streaming on Christmas while still having a family life and stuff, you know. So, yeah, I thought about it once, but it's a lot of work, so. I know, crazy, isn't it? Crazy. These few Marines in the cycle coming through. Adepts and a bit of troll, probe and troll, but the battery finishing is what I wanted to get to. Guardian Shield popping. I don't even know if we needed the Guardian Shield by the time we kind of got toward the end there. That's a nice battery save on that probe as well, so that's a nice little catch. There's Cloaking coming up, so Clem going for a little bit of a different opener here. Heading into the Banshee. Heading into the Siege Tank. For the moment. A couple of Marines coming out. The Blink is going to be done shortly. Well, Stalker's warping in. Going to see that medevac. We don't have Blink, so we can't do much to chase it down, but even a couple of shots, you know, it warns this medevac that, hey, you got to be a little bit careful here. I was going to say, this is an exact opportunity where you should come across and utilize this healing shrine. On Persephone, there's an air blocker on the healing shrine, so you can't heal up medevacs and so on. On Torches, there is not, but it's much more out of the way. And so you can go across, heals up the medevac, heals up the Marine a little bit that was hurt as well, and then just brings that back home full of HP. Why the heck not? Saves some resources from repairing. Hallucination sees the unload, so you know this medevac is back home as well. It's good information for ShoWTimE. There's no way your opponent is out. He goes directly into charge while taking his third base. And it's just a handful of Stalkers. It's an awkward map because there is always that chance of like a drop down that right side, you know, a push through the gold minerals or so that you've got to be kind of aware of as a possibility. And obviously it's the ramp up into the natural as well, so you're a little bit not always as in the know on Torches as you would be on some of the other maps. Making his best to make something happen here as these Stalkers just try and trade. Not perfect Blink Micro, loses 2 of the Stalkers already. This should be central, so this should be ShoWTimE server preference in case you're wondering. And the Banshees into the main. Oh, this is scary. Clem obviously up in the ante a little bit in this game because he's obviously going to be very aggressive with the Marine tank push and the Banshees. There are Stalkers plus an Observer, so we have an answer to the Banshees. We just need to actually get on top of them. 4 workers, 5 workers down. Stalkers trying to chase. We should have a blink through in a moment to get rid of one of these Banshees, which should stop this from doing much else. Stalker's still trying to trade at the front is, of course, a concern as well. If we get rid of the Banshees, we can obviously do a little bit better here. One of those tanks was hurting. One Banshee to the left-hand side. We'll maybe find one more probe. Actually going to go after the panel and the batteries. I think we're just going to go. ShoWTimE gets rid of one tank. Going to get rid of two. Honestly, before the Marines really kind of joined into fight, he got rid of those tanks. So that is kind of as good as it's going to get there. Sentry goes down. Good target to get rid of the Guardian Shield. But there's going to be a shutdown from ShoWTimE. He's going to clean this up. Did he take damage from this? Yes. Down in workers? Not great. But he's got 3 bases against a Terran who, yes, is setting up into stim combat and all the rest of it. But also a Terran who is not playing a 3rd base right now. Now, that's for good reason. Clem's adding on barracks 4 and 5. He's actually heading into a 5 racks aggressive 2-base attack. So he is going to be aggressive off these 2 bases. We will see how that goes down. As a couple of Marines going to get jumped on. A couple of Marauders taking damage. Marines taking shots. Widowmines will step forward as well. Stalkers getting away. Some of them on low HP. This is going to be dangerous, right? Because we're in this kind of stage of the game as, wow, that's a daring move from Clem. He's completely believing ShoWTimE will not poke back up the ramp and that he doesn't have vision to realize that there's medevacs here. Oh, the Stalkers are going to break through to the right, just a little shy of being in time to notice these medevacs. That's such a shame. It's the perfect idea. He's just late to it and he doesn't have anything in the main. ShoWTimE is kind of on track with what he should do, but like I say, he's just 5 to 10 seconds late. He's going to recall into the main base. He's going to be recalling into a burrowed up Widowmine. It's a lot of Stalkers. Mind fires. Forge goes down. So there goes one of the things you were going to catch up on. As like I say, what I think I was trying to get to and it got distracted by other things is that with this 2-base attack from Clem coming in, from ShoWTimE, this is a real challenge to get up just as much as possible to enable him to save himself against the big 2-base commitment. Denying those medevacs would have been a major star. Keeping his Forge alive. I mean, now he's finishing up a Robo Bay. Double Forge on the way up. It suddenly feels like ShoWTimE is going to build a lot of stuff which is not going to immediately help him. Quad medevac down the right side. The vision is just not there from ShoWTimE to know what's up. The observer out the front of the natural kind of needs to be more in the natural to see these things happening. We do have Stalker still in the main base though, so this drop will not come through. Oh, does it? It does! ShoWTimE still in position. He will knock down the lesser used medevac initially. Now just going to have to turn onto the units. We do not have batteries in this main base. Widowmine's burrowing on top, and ShoWTimE loses a lot of stuff. He blinks away from some of the initial mines. He does have Zealots charging through. Mines now on cooldown. More Warpins coming in. He's going to turn this around. I mean, it was a daring move in from Clem. It looked great initially, but ShoWTimE gets the cleanup eventually. How expensive has it been? Clem is building a 3rd base behind this as ShoWTimE starts 1-1. He starts extended thermal lance. He has a Colossus out right now, so he is getting to be stronger and stronger. Clem is just going to keep dropping down this right side. He is not going to give up this idea of just dropping into that same position, or at least threatening that drop. ShoWTimE takes a 4th bottom left, which is fine to do because Clem is heading to a 3rd as well. This is not a full commitment 2-base all in anymore, right? There is the follow-up plan from Clem coming through. Again, it's not enough Stalkers here to truly stop these medevacs coming in when there's 5 of them at the same time. We warp some Zealots in. The battery going to help the cannon out. If some of these Zealots just survive long enough to set off a mine or two, like not in the main cluster, that would be fine. We don't have enough Stalkers to blink in after the medevacs, but again, we clean up the mines, and ShoWTimE stops a lot of this Clem aggression. Like, is it clean? Is it super easy? No. Is it super free? No. But he knocks down this Banshee. That's one less thing to worry about. More Stalkers that get freed up. And he has denied the Widow Mines repeatedly. Because Clem keeps attacking in, his mines keep dying, and so he only has 4 mines in this game. Which means, like, a Zealot warp in right now would start to look very scary because you don't have a lot of the splash you maybe need to really shoot through those Zealot numbers and their shields and so on. So that could be a big deal as well. Something else to be thinking on here. Actually going to start up a little bit of a fight. ShoWTimE confident to step forward. Has the couple Colossus. Needs to make sure you're not too far away from the batteries. You do want those to keep the Colossus safe in case Clem is able to start diving into it. A lot of the Widow Mines didn't go off yet. I think as ShoWTimE, you don't care about this 4th base. Like you care about it. You want it. I don't think you cry over losing it. Stalkers blink a little late to actually get rid of the medevacs there. And also a little bit of a shim. He lost 1 Stalker to the Widow Mine as well. It shouldn't really happen, but he blinked into it. Like, I feel as though ShoWTimE, like I said, don't get me wrong, he wants to save the 4th, but I don't think you're like, oh no, game's over because I lost it. Like, it wasn't saturated yet. And honestly, if he killed a couple more units, I think he'd have a really strong counterattack right now. It's not the case. Medevacs are still very healthy on energy as well, which is a big deal. Means this bio army should get healed back to good HP. And obviously now Vikings start to come out as well, giving Clem the chance to have an answer to those Colossus on the field. 2 upgrades starting at similar times, so ShoWTimE's going to catch up on upgrades. Considering he got his first Forge denied is a pretty big factor, right? That is pretty, a huge deal, honestly. Units gathering up, we step forward. The Widow Mine right there is going to be just sat still and steady. Bio units still gathering and joining together. We trade a little bit. Couple of Marauders taking some shots. Stalkers blink back and away. We dodge away from that. One Widow Mine goes down. Marauder and Marines taking damage as well. Nexus in that bottom left gets set up, so 5th Nexus starting, ShoWTimE. Looking to keep the pressure up. He's got to be careful, man. Like, I guess the main army's back, but we are going to see Clem starting to drop again. These Elts are in! No! ShoWTimE, go! Okay, maybe this wasn't a bad call. Units actually started to come back over, so I guess the Zealot run by already did its job. I love ShoWTimE. He's sending some units to the right side. I think he's aware of the fact that Clem is maybe looking for that same drop path into the main base once more. Just going to be a little bit more cautious about that pathway. I think this right side is super important, as we've seen Clem trying to abuse it repeatedly. Obviously, you catch one of those drops before it gets to the base and you kill a medevacs full of units. Like, it's a major momentum swing in the game. In a game that's fairly well balanced in this moment. A move like that could offset and really tip things into ShoWTimE's favor very quickly, very heavily. So, Bio still stepping through the left. T2 upgrade's about to finish. A couple of Zealots on the way out. The Nexus is about to complete. I mean, the 5th base of ShoWTimE is probably in some trouble here. Again, this is one of those bases where I don't think ShoWTimE wants to throw everything away, trying to save it. Disruptor was a nice idea from the side, but I don't know if it's meant to be here. A little bit of a shame it didn't get into the prison to save itself. We're actually going to engage into this. Oh, I love that. I don't know if the hallucination was intentional, but it did absorb some of the Viking shots. Actually absorbed like the first round of Viking shots, which gives the Colossus a little bit more time to live. Colossus actually got a chance to be a big part of this fight now, and they pull away nicely. That prism just wasn't in the right place, unfortunately. Needed to be more over to the left. And then failed to save that Disruptor. Should have just ran instantly, because your army's on the left. If there's anywhere the Terran army's going to go, it's to the right. I mean, losing the 5th is rough, because, again, we want to see the pros up on bases. Clem is on 4th bases already, right? And you're not going to have the economy of ShoWTimE if you're going to play the same base count as the Terran, but the way that you're going to be trading is the issue. But that Disruptor shot, oh, it hits well. Clem just about turns away from it to minimize the damage, but still a few Marauders that get taken down quickly. Colossus just about hanging on in there. ShoWTimE does not know where Clem's army's gotten to. It's just off to the left side. And now ShoWTimE might be a little bit exposed. The Disruptor's way too far forward. He starts to run it away. I mean, Guardian Shield and just see what we can do. Stalkers blink back down. The Colossus will not last long at all. It's Disruptor's in production. That Disruptor's a good Disruptor because it fires from far enough away. But it exposes your 5th base. So now ShoWTimE, he's going to have to, if he makes a dive for this has to be it right now, right? You have to save this base if you're going to commit in. You're going to start targeting down medevacs. I like it. Removes the escape factor of your opponent. Sentry's showing up as well. Those Zealot counts going down, though. That's not good enough. Oh, the Disruptor! No, it gets denied. It doesn't connect. It was dead center on the bio. Oh, Zealot Warpin is going to be there, but ShoWTimE knows he's lost too much, and Clem is going to squeeze torches into his favor. 2-1 in Clem's advantage as we head to get into the bottom right corner of the map. As we start off with our 2-1 player. And again, maybe the last time we get to introduce him as the current world champion of StarCraft 2 from Team Liquid. This is Clem. I guess maybe if I cast him at EWC, I get to introduce him as that. But on our channel, at the very least, in the top left side, our red Protoss is going to be ShoWTimE. Game 4 of the best of 5. Can he fight back again? Each of these games has been a challenge. There's definitely not been a waltz or a walk in the park for anybody. They've been back and forth. They've been aggressive. I mean, we've had long games as well, drawn out. I really felt like Clem last game was so close to getting so much done with the Marine tank into the the Marine tank into those Banshees, but ShoWTimE cleaned up. And then I thought repeatedly those drops were putting Clem into potentially scary positions for ShoWTimE, but ShoWTimE kept deflecting them and just about doing enough to stay active and stay okay. Crazy, crazy stuff. Panzer going down. And we'll be seeing our Marine going through. Orbital coming up. Probe going to be there to nibble at the SCV. As the Nexus and the Cyber Core builds across, Probe is just going to nibble at the SCV for the moment. So far, so good. Just chilling. Yo, Tremulous Puma, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. We had 10 bombs from Ian earlier. Didn't get to read them out because Hearthstone was yapping away, but thank you so much, Tremulous Puma. Going out to Bamut999. Shut moving too much. Kitty Lynn, $5 footlong, Team Roscoe, Alex G. Punked, Syntex66, Yelitz, Issy, Bailey Reichenberg, and Nico Ladi. Thanks so much for the 10 gifted subs. Appreciate it. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Thanks for subbing up. Thanks for supporting the tournaments. And the StarCraft 2. Just taking a moment here, guys. Obviously still a bit of setting up being done. The Guardian Shield across the map. Oh, that's a misclick from a hallucination, though. I don't feel like that's meant to happen. As the hallucination checks into the main. It's going to fire hallucination, taking a few shots. And the medevac is going to come across the map from Clem. Third base coming down from ShoWTimE already, so let's see what our Widowmine and Marine combo will do here. It is a little bit different to what we've seen before. Obviously, before we've had the 2 Widowmines dropping. This game, it will be Marines as well, so... Stalker's in position in the main base, though. 5 of them as well. Now, no blinks, so you can't just blink on top of the medevac, but you're close enough to start engaging quickly, and that's what's important. One of the main issues here is if the Widowmine gets in a good position to zone the Stalkers, but ShoWTimE Magic gets to the corner in time, and that is the medevac taking hits, does not get the unload. Interference Matrix coming up on the Tech Lab. Usually the Raven in this matchup is only used for auto turrets nowadays and harassment. Building the Interference Matrix feels more of a fake in case ShoWTimE hallucinates scouts and sees, like, doesn't see what's building, but does see the upgrade. Like, I'd be surprised if it really committed to Matrix. Don't be wrong, Matrix has a place in this matchup, it's so rare to actually use it, right? In the end, the hallucination shows up before it gets faked out, so... Sees the starport moving across, gets a good idea of what's going on. So yeah, that really was just an attempt to fake out Cloak. But unfortunately, ShoWTimE is not going to be able to see to fall for. Yo, Peace B, thank you so much as well for the 500 bits. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for another way of supporting. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it. Thank you. As our Robo Bay comes online right now. Get that about halfway done currently. Just want to attack. The charge come through. He's done stuff from ShoWTimE, and it's been a good early game, right? Nothing has happened here from Clem. He lost to Hellion, and that's been it. You know, like, nothing has really taken place, which is perfect for the Protoss. Like, usually if anything's taking place, it's the Terran player getting in and dealing damage. Yeah, on the rare occasion, the Protoss gets in and gets some stuff done, but it's a much better game for Protoss than a Terran if nothing takes place. So ShoWTimE should be happy with this opening thus far. I think he's very happy to set this up. Would a Raven with Matrix be good to support 2-base all-ins? There was a time where Matrix with Ravens was very good. The problem is I think over time you realize that as a Protoss, especially in this day where you've got that energy overcharge, you have a lot of ways, and there's a lot more sentry openings, there's a lot more ways to buy time. So if you Matrix like the first Colossus, in the past that would be like, oh, such a sick play, now you can attack in. Nowadays the Protoss goes force field, I don't care. Right? So your Matrix just doesn't do that much anymore. What would be better would be an anti-armor missile, but you don't need to upgrade anything to do that. So that's why in this scenario where Clem is going to use the Raven with the army, he doesn't need Matrix, right? Because usually an anti-armor missile would be just as good. Or auto turrets can do great at kind of absorbing a few zealot charges as well. Those spell castings seem to just find way more value than Matrixes do in this matchup nowadays. And also, you also have a meta which is a little bit more common to go, Templars early too. And so the Raven in a fight trying to get an interference Matrix just gets feedbacked. So yeah, it's just not as potent as it used to be, basically. So, just very different of how it works, the matchup and what you build to kind of deal with it. Just doesn't make it work as well now. Medevac going down. It's going to be a nice catch. A couple Marines get picked away at. You think Matrix is underrated? You disagree? I mean, sure, but I mean, I can probably find you 10 different games where Terran has Matrix both Colossus and nothing happens because of it, so... I mean, what else do you want to Matrix? Like, if you Matrix both Colossus here, what happens? ShoWTimE runs back and he force fields, no? Like, it's just not that good. I think there's a reason the guys have stopped doing it. Like, it used to be a thing. It's just not anymore, and I think for pretty good reason, though. Like, if you drop an anti-armor missile in this army, it's way scarier. Engineering Bay Armory coming up. Gonna see the Stalkers blinking across Bio, taking a little bit of damage there as the Zealots will charge in too. Nothing else happening on the map for Clem currently, so this is ShoWTimE's chance to actually get forward and do very well. Actually get a good bit of picking off being done against some of the medevacs as well. One of the main things as well lately has been, obviously, over the last few months in general, we talked so much about Protoss players using their Stalkers well and effectively to knock down medevacs and just air units in general, and that's been one of the strengths of the Colossus, is that you're constantly having to rebuild medevacs, you're constantly having to rebuild Vikings and so on. It's definitely one of the things the Terrans have also improved at, right? You've seen Clem so good at keeping Vikings and medevacs alive today. In comparison to if you rewind, back when Hero really started kind of making this a priority, and a lot of players kind of copying him in that regard. And Clem as well was one of the players who also, I think, when he started playing PvT, showed us so much of the value of what you can do if you just get rid of the Vikings and medevacs consistently and really prioritize and using those Stalkers to aggressively blink in and trade with those units. As well as just going to drop off a couple of SCVs going down. We do have the extra warpins coming through in the main base. Vikings will probably just kill off the Prism here. ShoWTimE is in the main and the natural. And he's got the army still positioned to head into the third base too. How well does Clem deal with this so far? 8, 9 SCVs, 11 SCVs going down. This is nice. And like I say, we are going to have this army jumping onto the third base. A couple of Widow Mines here. Disruptor Shot is actually going to hit pretty nicely. Hits one of the units in the front. That's pretty neat. Although we are going to see the Vikings not going to get pushed back. Stalker count not good enough to quickly get rid of those Vikings. So the Colossus do have to kind of just go running. I actually think if ShoWTimE has like 4 to 5 more Stalkers there and he's like one-shotting the Vikings, I think he stands in that fight and those Colossus just trade back. Because maybe the Vikings kill one Colossus if he stands and fights, but he doesn't have the Vikings to kill 2 if the Stalkers are killing the Vikings way more quickly. So that might have been an interesting little thing to think on. The Disruptor Shot was good. For some reason I thought it killed a Ghost, but there was no Ghost in play. The Ghost Academy was in production, so I was like, oh, great Disruptor Shot. I was like, I actually don't know what it killed in the end. I think I saw it like blow up something beneath the medevac. I thought the medevac energy bar was like a Ghost energy bar. IO to the bottom left. 2-2 coming through. +3, +2 on the way from ShoWTimE. So far he's been an attack upgrade ahead on some of these fights. He will fall behind for a little bit until his armor upgrade finishes. So the upgrade advantage is ping-ponging from one player to the other. Most notably here though, Clem dealt with that aggression. Main natural and Zealot attack the third base with the main army on it. Clem pushed it back. Yeah, he took some damage, but he survived through. And that's obviously what you're aiming to do here when the Protoss is kind of throwing units at you like that, right? You clean up a lot of the Zealots. That is a mineral investment from the Protoss. A couple of mines there, looking to catch some Zealots initially. Stalkers will blink back from it, though, instead. Retargeting from Clem is very cute because it makes it very difficult for ShoWTimE to know when those Widow Mines are going to fire. And he is able to force ShoWTimE back without those mines actually being set off. Zealots back in the main, though. The Prism is active once more and comes straight through. New Prism, new day, new Zealots. And again, just 5 SCVs forces Clem to pull back into the main. So cheap as well, right? 6 SCVs is already going to pay for the Zealots that you lose here. And in this case, the Prism is just back out and away, no? So Prism gets away, can come in again later. Currently just reinforcing the main army as Clem has missed that ShoWTimE is off to the right side. Hey, this orbital is kind of low, no? SCVs pull into repair, realizing that this orbital is low. Force fields on the left-hand side. Oh, but we're going to come in around from the top side. Disruptor shot. Oh, it is going to go off. It was the wrong disruptor that died. And another one. Dead center on the bio. ShoWTimE looking good at the moment. Can he keep it up? So many zealots to the bottom. He needs some up top to help with everything else. He's going to leak some to the natural. Reinforcing zealot chop as well. It's going to be good. ShoWTimE is going to catch Clem out of position. Clem looked as though he almost had the chance to get back on this army, but ShoWTimE deals with it very well. The disruptor got there. And like I say, Clem killed the wrong disruptor. I saw the disruptor die. I was like, oh no, he's going to get away with engaging into it. But okay. I'm ready to engage. I'm ready to do battle with anyone. Wardy versus Twitch chat. Round 2. All right, let's go. Let's kick this off as we have ourselves in the top right-hand side. The blue Terran player is going to be Clem. Bottom left, our red Protoss is ShoWTimE. Wow, what great form he's in coming into EWC in just a week's time. Very exciting stuff. Thank you, BBB Dude, for the 51-month resub on the Prime. Super appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. Hell yeah, thank you, thank you. And again, both these guys have had hella runs to get here. Clem taking out Raynor, taking out MaxPax, ShoWTimE, taking out Byun, taking out Gumiho, taking out Shin. Like, these are not easy brackets. This really was a stacked Monday Cup. We've had great games all day. Is this on West or Central? This is on Central for Game 5. So we do rotate the server preference each week. This week is the European preference in EU versus Korea. So Central, West, Central for a Game 5. Shout out to Solar, complaining to me every single week about being European favored. Change the rule. 6 weeks after changing the rule, Solar complains to me that it's always Central, West, Central. And I'm like, no, it's not. We changed this rule 1.5 months ago. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. Shout out to Solar. Really doing the work to get the rule changed and still complaining about it after the fact because he didn't bother to check it had changed. What a champion. To be fair, I also would not read the small print in the rules each week. But it was announced at the start, just, you know, should have logged in a little bit faster. Should have logged in a little bit sooner and actually been there at the start for the admin announcements, you know. Excellent, the Cybercore coming on up, so we get that all underway. A lines for final game. We've seen some banger maps in this series. ShoWTimE's been pretty consistent about just playing the Colossus into the Disruptors. Obviously, he's had some games that have not quite gone his way. He's had some games that have gone his way. It's actually been a very fun series. Honestly, today's games in general have just been great. A great way to come back from a few days away. What's up, Stancops? Thank you so much for the 10-month resub on the Prime. The Terran tears are very real today. Yeah, I've not been keeping too much of an eye on chat, but I know. The complaining is there. Look, guys, we should just all chill out and enjoy StarCraft. You know how much more fun it would be if we just chilled out and just enjoyed the games? It'd be a lot more fun. And I know this because I just chill out and enjoy the games, and I have a great time every single time we stream. You know? It's a tried and tested technique. Tech Lab on the factory. So it's actually a very different opening from Clem. We have seen him Cyclone Marine drop once this series. And that's going to be a very similar vibe. It was very well dealt with from ShoWTimE. He didn't let the drop come into play. Oh, ShoWTimE with the switch up. He's going to go charge. Wow, after playing Blink 4 games in a row, this obviously looks right now very similar. This is interesting because you're going to want some Stalkers at the moment to actually come through and to be able to deny the initial kind of drop play and so on. So you kind of want that, but then the whole idea is if this is going to be like a tank push follow-up, having charge is going to be very powerful. Hallucination sees the medevac, and the medevac turns around. The units will continue on the map on their own. ShoWTimE will warp in Stalkers right now, guys, because again, he wants to make this look very normal. Yeah, and Clem went back to actually just pick up more units. Oh, this is brutal for Clem. Because when ShoWTimE shows up with charge, he's going to have a really good method of dealing with this group of units. Get out of this supply block, start warping in Zealots. Like, this attack is going to hit early, but if ShoWTimE can just get, like, 2 warp-ins of Zealots, he's going to be real good against it. Marines, a Cyclone. Going after that pylon, but ShoWTimE has a backup pylon. His charge is about to be done. Like I say, that makes such a big difference. He's going to intercept the Reaper there. Here we go. Charge ready, and we are just going to get the Zealots instantly targeting down that siege tank. You do lose the Stalkers on the high ground, but the Zealots are going to be very tanky. Cyclone to the high ground, everything else to the high ground. Okay, I like that play from Clem. Medevac taking some serious shots, though. Oh my goodness, very nearly goes down. We're going to chase forward. We're going to go for the Medevac. We will get it from the other side. Now the battery in the main has some work to do, as we honestly do a pretty good job of keeping our units alive. Zealots showing up, and ShoWTimE will clean up this initial attack. Very, very well done. 3 Stalkers go down. That first tank really did get a couple of Stalkers on the high ground. That's where most of the damage came from. Resources lost, though, you can see, is heavily favorable to ShoWTimE. Throws a third base down behind this. Now goes into the Templar Archives as he plays a completely different follow-up, right? Because he went charge first, he's not going to play a Colossus. He's going to play into Templar Archives, into Storm. What a switch up here in the 5th game of this series, and a defense to start us off that gives ShoWTimE a very strong opening hand. Let's see if he can play it out well as the blink starts. The Templar Archives will be finishing soon. Now the stim pack on the way up from Clem. He gets ready for the next phase of his game. The +1 coming up as well. Couple extra gates coming through. Just going to have ourselves stim the +1. There's that Storm starting. Like I said, it's going to be a big switch up. Going to make this a very different kind of game. Raven coming in from that right-hand side. Again, Stalkers don't have blink yet, but they're in position preemptively. Any damage you put on a Raven right now... Oh, he gets the Observer with the Auto Turret. I love that. That's actually a really cool way to target fire. But any damage on the Raven right now obviously makes it harder to come back in the future. All the gates coming online as well. It's going to be very gateway heavy here. We're going to have High Templars warping in off gateways as well. So you need that gateway production to sustain your army. Clem, I was going to say, this is not a game he wants to be 2-base all in from. And he is going to start the 3rd command center right now. I was just at the point where I was about to be like, we're not just going to commit to an attack, right? Because that does not feel good. Once the upgrades will be done, the Storm is going to be massively important from ShoWTimE. He needs to protect his High Templar. He needs to use his Storms sparingly, but correctly. You know, you don't want to do nothing with the Storms. You don't want to just hold them forever. But you don't want to throw the Storm down as like 2 Marines split away and nothing really comes of it. The Viking shows up, gets a couple of probes. Like that, may as well get some value where you can find it. Maybe a pylon kill here, maybe a probe kill. Mr. Viking being a frustration. The Raven low HP as well. Just going to get the probe back away. A couple more barracks coming out as Clem gets ready to take his 3rd base and go from there. ShoWTimE. Actually, he's going to have a Terran army coming across toward him. Uh-oh, this Prism needs to be super careful right now. ShoWTimE should see this before Clem sees it. Oh, he's going to find the Storms with the High Templar. Oh, Clem! He didn't know what to do. He backs away, he stimmed, and he was just tanking it. Don't get me wrong, that's not going to kill too much. But what it does do, it drains so much medevac energy, right? Like, this is medevac energy now where these medevacs would be, like, completely dry. You can't then take a fight across the map, stimming in with no healing available. Oh, ShoWTimE. Like I said, that was super scary with the Prism coming in, but it's going to work out perfectly. And Clem just has to stop that attack, so ShoWTimE shuts it down ahead of time, gives him more time to prep up. I mean, I don't know if ShoWTimE has a chance to attack in onto the other side, to be honest. Obviously has plenty of Storm available. Zealots are very tanky. The siege tanks should not care too much about... should not worry ShoWTimE too much. The Zealots will not care about those. So Raven is looking for the Auto Turret, which is not going to do much. Kills 1 probe, but pretty quickly dealt with. ShoWTimE's definitely looking for the idea of attacking in. It's scary. Don't get me wrong. It is scary because it's a lot of Terran that's spread out preemptively as well. You've got a good amount of Widow Mines here too. It's a ton of Zealots though. Like, ShoWTimE has a lot. He's about to have +1. He's going to attack in just as his +1 is finishing, so the timing is great. Zealots take a lot of beating. We do not have the Storms dropped yet. We drop a Storm onto a tank. He doesn't even know where to Storm because the Terran is so well spread out. This is not necessarily a good thing for Clem because it means he's not really joined up anywhere. Siege tank going down. Zealots warp into the fight. The Prism is going to be fine. There's not enough Marines to attack it. Zealots get the warp in. And ShoWTimE is looking to win a WardiTV Monday. It's his 2nd attempt in the finals. Over 44 editions. He looks like he might be able to get it done right here as ShoWTimE still has the Prism, so warp-ins available. Feedback on the Ghost. The Archon Stalker's trying to hold. Another Storm comes down. We have another Storm still available too as ShoWTimE warps in the Zealots. Clem has lost too many SCVs. Widow Mines are going off, but they will not do enough, and ShoWTimE will win the WardiTV Mondays edition 44. He will be the 9th player to win one of these cups. We make a big deal out of it because it is honestly a rare occasion that we see new people winning out against the Clems, the Heroes, and the Maxpaxes that have dominated this tournament series. It has obviously started to become a little bit more common. Classic won a couple, Bjorn won one not so long ago. But the reality is, it's still a pretty rare occasion for someone new to come in and win, and ShoWTimE will get it done in edition 44 with a 3-2 over Clem. GG, well played.